Hey there, Heather Boyd Wire here, and today I want to give a huge shout out to Neil in the Facebook group, the Wire Art and Jewelry Makers Club, for requesting her name in Arabic. So this was a real challenge. We had a lot of back and forth with sketches and samples on Messenger, on Facebook to figure out the design. And she had some great ideas to add some beads, and we figured out how to do it together, and the result is wonderful. So thank you, Neil, so much for the great idea. So what you're going to need for the project is, I'm going to use sterling silver wire. You can use copper wire if you like. It's a 20 gauge, and this one is dead soft. You can use half hard. And this is 26 gauge wire to attach the little crystals. They're 4mm crystals. You can also use 28 gauge, nothing too thick, and then your tools. So this was the final sample I made out of copper wire, and I didn't have a chain, so I just used tiger tail just to show how I would hang the pendant. So we're going to start with an 8-inch piece of silver wire. I'm going to just rub it with the polishing cloth, and that helps straighten it out. And it also helps to clean the wire. So then we want to start at the right side and work our way in. We're just going to give it a little bit of a bend like that. And then we want to do our first bend. Now if you're comfortable just freehanding it, that's great. If you want to print out a picture from the internet, you could totally do that as well, just to kind of trace it and get the right dimensions. So we're going to bend that here, and then we're going to bend this one across, and this wire we want to bend it up. Just figure out, your distance there and bend it up. And this one has a little bit of a curve to it, so we're going to do a little bit of a curve to there. Now we want it to have somewhere to hang it from the chain, so just figure out how high you want this, and then we're going to actually bend it to the front. But what I want to do is do a little bit of a jog so we have somewhere to hang the chain in. So I'm just going to bend it to the back a little bit like that, and then bend this around to the front, and then that way the chain can get caught in there, like just hang in there. So just make it a little bit more pronounced if you need to. And then this wire goes right on top of that wire, and if you bend it back this way, we could just hold it together when you form this curve here. So we're just going to bring it around, hold it in place, and then we want to form the bottom loop there. So for that, you can actually use a round form. So if you have a little round form, you can just stick it in there. You can use a pen, you can use whatever you want, and just start the round form, and then you can always adjust it a little bit with your pliers. So just bring that in. The wire's pretty soft, so you can almost just kind of do it freehand, and then just compare it to your picture to see how you want it to look. And to finish the end, you don't want a really rough end. So what I would do to finish the end would just be to take the round pliers and bend it around just to make a teeny little loop, okay? It's going to be hidden at the back. So you just want to make sure your end is flush. So from there, you'll just take your cutters and give it a cut, and then you want to close that space in there. So just take your flat pliers and bring it in and make sure that's nice and flush. So that's the first part. You have that area done, and then for this part you want to do a little loop on it as well, so you can hang the other side of the chain. So we're going to take this and bend this to the back, so hold it in place around the same level as that one, and just bend that so it looks like it's about the same, and then bend it to the back, and then make your little loop. So I'll hold it sideways so you can see it. We're going to do a little bit of a loop here, okay? Same thing, we're just going to get our cutters, give it a cut, and push it down so it's flush. So there we have our initial piece, and then what I did for the other one is I twisted the bottom beads on, and then I added the other one with a separate wire. So what I'll do is cut a little piece of the 26 gauge wire. So we're just going to go ahead and get our piece and wrap this around. Hold it with your finger there. Wrap it around a couple of times. Okay. And then we're going to get our crystals. Now this is way too long. I always cut things way too long. And we'll stick one little crystal here. It's nice when they're like faceted like that. It's not like a round crystal. It's got a nice shape to it. And so we're going to take this and bring that up. And then wrap it like twice here. 2 or 3 times, depending on how like far apart you want the crystals to be. So we're just going to wrap it a couple of times and then put the other crystal. So we'll just stick that one on there. So we're going to just do the same. We're going to hold it, bend the wire to the back, and then if you have trouble accessing it, just use your pliers. And then we're going to bend this around a couple of times. And then you need to cut your little wires at the back and make sure when you twist them in that they're not going to poke against your skin. And then if you need to, you can separate them a little bit. If they're too close together, just get your fingernail in there and separate them a little bit. And then we need to add this one here. So we're going to take our other scrap piece of wire. So we're just going to form a tiny little loop on this end. You don't want it too big. Okay, and then bend this back a bit. And this is actually going to hook onto the end of your name or the beginning of your name. And then we're going to just close this loop a bit. So just get your pliers in there, get the flat ones. So we're going to close that loop here, and then we're going to add our last crystal. So we'll stick the last crystal on there, and then we want this one to go to the back because you're going to hang your chain on there. So what we're going to do is take our round pliers and hold that here and just bend it to the back very discreetly, but large enough so you have a little bit of give for the chain. You don't want it too tight or it's going to get all tangled up. So go ahead and do your loop, and then you're going to trim it, and then we're just going to flatten it down. And unfortunately I do not have a silver chain, but if I did have a chain, what I would do would be attach one end there and then one end there. Neil hung her chain in the outer loops of the name, so however you want to hang it in a way that it's balanced is perfect. So thanks so much for watching the video. Give it a big thumbs up if you liked it. Be sure to subscribe to my channel for lots more DIY wire art and jewelry making videos. Hit the notification bell to be notified when I go live and when I post new videos. And if you'd like to share photos of your work, be sure to join the Wire Art and Jewelry Makers Club on Facebook, where we share lots of inspiration and ideas. If you'd like to check out my wire work on Etsy, my husband and I specialize in custom-made wire wedding cake toppers and funky jewelry. And also I have a mailing list, so if you'd like to hop on the mailing list, I'll send you my Wire Art Essentials ebook, and I'll link that up below. And again, thanks so much to Neil for the wonderful idea. Thank you to everybody in the group who is always inspiring each other and motivating new ideas and inspiration. And we'll see you the next time.